Time for you to go beast mode. King of the jungle, cause you're in a mode. Time for you to go overload. Eat your competition alive, cause you an animal. What's my competition? Only me. Go head to head with my enemies and smash them to smithereens. Calisthenics burning calories. Bring that fire ready to blow up. Now we're the kerosene. You're a fighter, you're a fighter. Never gonna give up, never gonna back down. Get up, get up, get up, get up.
Welcome into Beyond the Blitz, week 1 of high school football action, which is what we call the second week of games, of course.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but I guess it makes sense. And there were a lot of great games, starting with our game of the week. And let's go ahead and get to it. It was the Brick Bowl, maybe not as pumped up as the Salt Bowl from last week, but Glen taking on Malvern. Malvern week 0, the Beavers coming off the wrong end of a shutout 42-0 against a good box out team. And then Malvern last week coming off a 42-20 win over Jacksonville. Let's get you to those highlights between the Beavers and the Leopard. Beavers running out. Like I said, they were the underdogs in this one, but let me tell you, it was a strong start for Glen. Second drive of the game for Malvern. Leopard's quarterback running for his life. That's Evan Green coming up with the big sack. And next possession for the Beavers, Gage Hood finding Parker Davis, bumbling, stumbling inside the red zone. Glen Rose is threatening to score, but they don't score. Malvern defense holding strong and not much going on for the Malvern offense, but Glen Rose continuing to threaten. Hood this time finding Trace Bustle, and this time getting it inside the red zone once again, and this time they are punching it in, barely finding the end zone, stretching it out. There is Hood. Glen Rose leading by a touchdown, trying to pull off the upset. And for Malvern, well, it took them a while, but here comes their offense, and here comes Tavion Cleggs. Long run for this one, and this game was a lot closer than most people expected, but Malvern still coming out on top in a close one, 34-28.
No one expects a close game when they play Parkview at this point. You might remember last year the Patriots had a running clock in the second half of 12 of their 14 games. But last night they took a trip to Maumelle, where an up-and-coming Hornet team put them to the test. Of course, Parkview always travels well, but the Hornets up for it in an early going. Quentin Murphy, Patriots go into the end zone. This one looks like it's picked off, and Montario Elston says he rips it away. The referees confer and say, no, it's an interception by Caden Brooks. Maumelle football, and the Hornets threatening deep in Parkview territory, but on fourth down, Andrew Bjork goes to the end zone. Just a little too long, turnover on downs, and last thing I want to do is give Parkview more possessions, largely because of this guy, Montario Elston. He makes a guy miss. One man to beat, well, two if you count the turf. He goes down just outside the 20-yard line. That drive stalls, and they settle for a field goal. Salomon Aguilar knocks it through, his third of the first half. It's 9-0 Patriots. All right, this play, well, we have sweetest play. We'll call this the bittersweetest play, because Andrew Bjork amazingly stays on his feet, finds Tucker Gurney. It's incomplete. I had to show an incomplete pass, though, because it was just such a cool play otherwise. Hey, speaking of cool plays, how about one that actually counted? Elston, the one-handed grab, makes one guy miss, hits the sideline, whoop, hits the brakes, whoop, hits the brakes again, and then hits a man in the face mask. And he's down, and Parkview driving, and now the Patriots just before half trying to make something happen. Murphy scrambling, finds a man downfield. An amazing catch, but yet again, another play called back because of penalty. You can't call them all back, though. Parkview just led 9-0 at halftime, turns things on in the second half. 51-6 the final. The Patriots are rolling once again.
Big second half there for Parkview. Let's go to Shiloh Christian and Little Rock Christian now. Ryan Burkett can't hold on to the ball here. Big hit by Shiloh in the very next play. Cole Creighton finds Ryan Burkett behind the Warriors defense, and he's the one who gets in the end zone for the for the Saints, and the Saints would keep it going. Second quarter, that's Max Eldredge. Shiloh takes the 16-12 lead, and that's not going to make any head coach happy, especially not Dustin Grimmett in his first season. But hey, he's going to be pretty happy after his defense steps up big here on fourth down. Garland Davis with the big-time sack, and we're going to rush all the way to the fourth quarter because this is how this one ended. An absolute thriller, nail-biter. Shiloh in the end. That's Chandler Kemp, a game-winning touchdown. Shiloh comes out on top 44-40.
All right, we talked before about how a lot of games kind of felt like they could be previews of playoff games. That was definitely the case in the 2A, when the two top-ranked teams in all of Arkansas in the smallest classification of the state squared off in Carlisle. It's Junction City making the trip to take on the Bisons. Here come the Dragons, here come the Bisons, and, well, here comes the offense to start for Junction City. It's Dominique Grimes. He finds Pater. He outruns everybody there. 40-yard touchdown. Dragons are moving early, but now a little bit of chaos on a punt. Snap goes over the head, then pops out again for the punter. Carlisle can't quite recover it there, but still sets them up in real great field position, and they managed to knock home a field goal. In fact, they'd do that twice. So it's 7-6 Junction City, but then the Dragons, just before half, that's with zeros on the clock. So they can't score before halftime, and they probably wish they did, because here comes the Carlisle offense in the second half. You saw Tank Tanksley to Gavin Davis on a slant, and this time it's Gabe Boyle, the tight end, for a nice gain, and they'll finish things off. Jaden Elliott carries a couple defenders into the end zone. Carlisle takes their first lead of the game, 13-7 in the third quarter, and then just keeps scoring. The Bisons rumble to a 41-20 win.
I mean, how can you not love 2A football, but how can you also not love 7A football? Bentonville and Conway, both teams have a little bit in common. They both lost to Fayetteville last year in the postseason. Facing off tonight, the Wampus Cats and Bentonville, and we're showing you a punt on the very first highlight for a reason. That's Jacoby Wade, picks it up at the 1-yard line. Okay, and there he goes, all the way to the house. We'll skip to the end at 99 yards. That could be a sweetest play coming up this week. 7-0 early on Wampus Cats, but the Tigers, they respond. Very next drive, Chris Ficklin runs it in for 6. This game is tied at 7, but it wouldn't be tied for long. Second quarter action, and this is when the Wampus Cats started to pull away. Trey Harris, this guy is a speedster, runs it into the end zone for the Wampus Cats, 13-7, and a little bit later on, we talked about Grayson Wilson last week, the future Arkansas Razorback quarterback. He's getting it going again, but it's really his playmakers that are getting it going this week. Trey Harris, touchdown all the way to the end zone for the Wampus Cats, 20-7, and Conway just went on to dominate 55-21. That was your final score.